Let's move on to the Big 12 championship game between Kansas State and TCU. TCU, we think, may not even need to win this game to make the playoff. We'll see how that goes. But regardless, they know they have to win to guarantee a spot in the playoff. And the Horned Frogs are 2.5-point favorites here at AT&T Stadium in Jerry World down in the Dallas metro area. 61.5 is the total. With it being at AT&T Stadium, you bet your behinds that TCU's fans are going to make that short trip over to check out this game. So I'm guessing a pretty heavy TCU crowd here. So if you're trying to do anything for home field advantage, it is a neutral field, but I would expect a ton of TCU fans in the stadium here. But yeah, 2.5s across the board here. I think this is up from 1.5 earlier in the week. I kind of like it. Anything under 3 here, Brett. I don't know about you. It feels like the market still continues to not give enough respect to TCU, and we have a total between 61.5 and 62.
Yeah, last time that I bet TCU and was really passionate about it, didn't really work out because that didn't go too well. They almost did. They probably could have did, but whatever. In terms of this being a home game for TCU, I would give a full home field boost in this line because it's not just the fans. It's these players are going to sleep in their own beds and they only have a, at most 40-minute commute if there's traffic down 820 to AT&T Stadium from Fort Worth. Fans can show up. Fans will be energized. We talk about that. Again, though, it's a lot about they don't have the travel inconveniences that you normally would with an away game, or a neutral site game. So I'm treating this like a full-on TCU home game because it just kind of is. Will there be a lot of Kansas State fans there? Sure. Yeah, of course. They don't make it to the Big 12 championship game all that often. TCU winning in. Lose. Let's not give him a reason to let's not give him a reason to try it and guess here. But yeah, I would assume that they probably would still make the playoff. Boy, if you put in Ohio State over TCU again, 2014 all over again, the city of Fort Worth is going to burn to the ground. So Will Howard is going to be starting for Kansas State. That came out earlier this week in place of Adrian Martinez, who's been battling injury. But Will Howard has been playing so well. He has 13 touchdowns, just 2 interceptions in 5 games this year. There's really no reason to go away from him. It's kind of like the Baylor game from last year where Gary Bohannon got hurt and they put in Blake Shapen. And Blake Shapen played so well that Gary Bohannon was good to go in that Big 12 championship game, but they just rode the hot hand to a victory. So I see Kansas State doing a very similar thing here. Last time that they played, TCU was just torn up by intermediate throws early in the game. They gave up 28 first half points, and then they gave up exactly 0.0 in the second half. It was a tale of 2 halves. They also ran their terrific running back, Kendre Miller, 29 times for 153 yards and 2 touchdowns. So I think we're going to see another run-heavy approach because they had so much success up front with it, even against a really good Kansas State front 4, front 7. But one thing Kansas State did really well was they contained Quentin Johnson, that taking the top off receiver. He had a 55-yard touchdown, but outside of that, he caught 3 balls for 19 yards. That is not very good. I think that they're going to be able to contain him again, but I'd like to see TCU get back to him a little bit more there. And if they can, it's going to be a much easier game for them. If I lean anywhere, I'm actually going to lean under this total. We're looking at 62 points. I can see this as being a heavier defensive battle. TCU's defense, just kind of like the stigma around them is, well, they're really bad. No, they're really not. They've been playing out of their minds the past 3-4 games. If you go back and look, they're playing really well right now. And when you play really well and you have this momentum riding it into the conference championship, I think they're going to have another good defensive outing. I don't see this being a high shootout, maybe like a lot of people think TCU games typically are. And Kansas State, they feel the top 30 defense of their own. So in terms of EPA advanced metrics. So I think 2 pretty solid defenses. Maybe TCU is going to lean into that run a little bit more. Kansas State was really good about the quarterback run with Will Howard not going away from that, even though Adrian Martinez wasn't back there taking snaps. So when you get into that kind of run off, no pun intended there, but when you run the ball a lot with a couple of good defenses, 62 is a lot of points. Now, I understand that TCU is a home run hitter and can score on at any time. So if you don't have the iron gut really to do that and you want to see how the game plays out, you could bet a live total. And if it looks like it's going to be more of that defensive standoff and more run-heavy game than the market expects, maybe that 62 is a little lethargic to go down out of the gate. Or if you see that they've hit on a couple of plays or attempted a couple of downfield plays and it's lethargic to go up, I think a live play on the total here is definitely an option.
I don't think I mentioned it off the top. This game is noon on Saturday on ABC for those looking to watch and bet Kansas State and TCU in the Big 12 title game.